because you're going to get that business anyway. Because a lowballer cannot stay in business. They fail. They're the 100,000 that fail every year and the 70% that fail in 5 years. The cheapest lawn company in your market is not necessarily your biggest threat. A lot of business owners spend too much time worrying about the lowballer, the guy coming into the neighborhood and offering to mow a lawn for $5 or $10 less. Yes, he might take a few customers from you. That happens. But in my experience, those customers often come back into the market again. The reason is that an unsustainably low price eventually catches up with the company charging it. Now, charging less does not automatically make somebody a bad operator. A solo owner with low overhead might legitimately be able to operate for less than a larger company. The problem is the person who has no idea what the property actually costs them to service. They look at a lawn that another company charges $50 to mow and say, I'll do it for $35. But they haven't calculated every cost into their price. They haven't included drive time, loading and unloading, fuel, payroll, taxes, equipment and repairs, insurance, office work, or the time spent talking to the customer. They only see the money coming in. They don't see everything going out. Then, because there isn't enough profit in each property, they have to cram more work into the schedule. That's when they start rushing from one property to the next, spending less time on the details and leaving themselves no room for weather delays, callbacks, or equipment problems. Then, when a mower breaks, the repair hurts even more because there wasn't enough profit built into the work to cover it. The owner ends up working longer hours, taking home less money, and constantly feeling behind. Eventually, something has to change. They either raise their prices, start dropping the lawns that aren't profitable, or realize they've built themselves a job that demands more and pays less than it should. If this sounds like you, I just released a video on how to raise your prices every year without losing clients. But when it comes to your competitors' clients, the customer might have saved $5 a week, but now they've spent half the summer sending messages, wondering whether somebody is going to arrive, and trying to find another company at the busiest time of the year. That is what a lot of customers eventually learn. They are not only paying you to cut the grass, they are paying you so they don't have to think about the grass. They are paying for somebody who answers the phone, communicates when the weather changes, maintains professional equipment, and arrives every week. Most importantly, they are paying for somebody who will still be there next month, next season, and 5 years from now. That reliability has value. When you work in the same neighborhood year after year, people notice it. They see your truck. They see your crew. They see that the properties you maintain are consistently taken care of. Your existing customers talk to their neighbors, and eventually your company becomes the familiar name in that area. Meanwhile, other providers come and go. That doesn't mean you should stop advertising or assume all of that business will automatically fall into your lap. It means your marketing becomes more effective because you already have proof in the neighborhood. People have seen you working there. You're not a complete stranger asking them to trust you. You also don't have to win every customer the first time they ask for a price. Some prospects will choose the cheaper company. Let them make that decision professionally. Keep their information, continue working in the neighborhood, and follow up later. You don't call them to say, I told you so. You simply make sure they know you are still available when their circumstances change. Over a 5-year period, a large number of homeowners will be forced to choose another provider because their current company closed, quit, became unreliable, or stopped servicing the area. You do not need to capture every one of those customers. You need to be positioned to capture the right ones. That means you cannot destroy your own company trying to match a price that was never sustainable in the first place. What you can do is know your production rates, know what your equipment costs to operate, know your minimum price and how much gross profit you need from each property, and quote the work confidently. That's one of the reasons I built the Rapid Quote Profit Generator. You can try it for free with the link in the pinned comment. Remember, the goal is not to be the cheapest company in the neighborhood for one season. The goal is to become the company that is still serving that neighborhood 10 or 20 years from now. So don't become obsessed with every lowball quote you hear about. Concentrate on running your numbers, delivering consistent service, and building a reputation that compounds year after year. The lowballer may win the customer today. Your job is to build the company they call when cheap stops working. Good luck out there.